On the stage of The Voice Kids UK, a 14-year-old girl called Lucy Thomas decided to perform one of Moon River's well-known songs. Impressing young people is difficult. Viewers who she remained calm and didn't use any tricks or put on a loud performance. Instead, Lucy simply sang along with her sincere voice that fills the room with fall silent. Even though she was only able to her semi-final performance left an excellent grade after the performance, there were no large-scale agreements or marketing initiatives and Lucy almost disappeared from the public's notice. Nobody was positive what happened a couple of years later, the name of Lucy Thomas was mentioned once more. This time, not on television, but in a radically different setting. In this video we'll look at her journey as a talented vocalist who had several challenges on her career path. During the summer of 2018 The Voice Kids UK's second season has started. Will I have 4 coaches and be the pixie lot? Danny Jones and Jessie J, who replaced after the initial season, Ronan Keating. The show received thousands of applications coming from all throughout the United Kingdom, and the casting round was held behind closed doors. Thomas, a 14-year-old from Wigan, Lancashire, was one of the lucky contestants to make to the blind editions of it. She chose to perform a Moon River song. Classical in tone, well known for its performance through Audrey Hepburn in the film Breakfast at Tiffany's, choosing a song that was being disliked by teenagers was a courageous move. Even a little risky decision, but many other contestants chose modern pop songs. To wow the judges, Lucy performed a slow ballad that requires careful handling of the emotion and volume made this clear. Her inventiveness from the start. Danny Jones, following the first few lines in reaction, his chair turned swiftly. That showed his recognition right away. As her tryout came to an end, Pixelot, and it was the maturity that surprised Jessie J. In Lucy's musical taste and vocal style, she gave a simple, modest performance. I focused on subtlety and clarity in every note. In a backstage interview shot after the show, Lucy disclosed that one of her favorite songs was Moon River, with her mother at home, and her choice was not strategically calculated, but only because she felt comfortable carrying it out, proving her natural fashion that she persisted in wearing throughout the years that took place on the stage. She was not high standards, and her only goal was to propel oneself using a qualified platform. After Lucy's publications for The Blind was allocated to Danny Jones's side, the lead singer of McFly and one of the season's most popular instructors. In the following rounds, she continued to exhibit composure during Lucy's fighting round. Competed alongside 2 more opponents with the song, I Shall Always Adore You. This song is closely related to Whitney Houston, requires a great deal of high remarks that Lucy used a delicate tactic. Focusing on the clarity of the lyrics and precise wording rather than generating powerful emotional effects, this approach that isn't as impressive as some other contestants were highly commended for its technological complexity and mastery. She stopped in the semi-finals in spite of this. The audience would always remember Lucy. She sang a modern rendition of Wolves, struck by a rapid, electronic rhythm modifications that provide a substantial challenge for a singer with a classical voice like the one she used when performing, and controlled her respiration. The performance had no standout moments. Climax, and later a number of articles claimed that the choice of song was the reason she didn't make it to the finals, anyway. The audience's response did not completely endorse the program's decision to delete her from social media. Many were sorry and believed that the most mature voice of the season was Lucy's. 2. Her video audition for Moon River was widely shared and received positive concentrate on websites like Facebook and YouTube. Even if she didn't get too deep into, Lucy's impact on the competition was substantial. With her clear voice and after the performance, musical selections, many of the contenders quickly joined the interviewing people using a recognizable media cycle, appearing on television and building personal brands. However, Lucy chose a unique path. There weren't notifications when new music is released, no concert schedules, no media campaigns, but that silence didn't last. Lucy Thomas returned shortly after and continued to practice her career in her own way. She eventually returned to her own path. Lucy's departure at the end of 2018 struck a contract with Cavendish Records. An independent label in the UK known for includes outstanding musical pieces and traditional creative direction, this was an alternative choice for most competitors from reality TV, as many individuals searched for large entertainment companies for their reputation providing support for business strategy from naturally, collaborating with Cavendish Lucy, distant direction, she said. Removing herself from the hustle and bustle of the dominance of the general market over her work and respecting authenticity. Lucy's song recording process. Professional recording conditions were used for the debut album environment, but without the stress of sales figures or premiere dates. Early in 2019, an album was released, including popular songs in the crossover musical and classical theater genres, for instance, Beauty and the Beast Somewhere and the Prayers arrangements. The record features live orchestration in place of electric background music that emphasizes there is something about Lucy's voice that is placed prominently without taking up too much space. The studio effects on each track offer the maintaining the live performance's ambience, her phrases' natural flow, and the sentiment stated. Despite the fact that the record did not attract much attention from it, was warmly received by the mainstream media. Assessments of a variety of musical theater for those who enjoy modern classical music. Several independent music magazines saw Lucy's potential performance, particularly her ability to control technique and emotion, which is challenging for a 15-year-old singer. Aged compared to how she looked on the voice of this album has a clear advancements in technology and emotional components with greater agility, confidence, and a more pronounced human touch. Family was essential throughout this point. Without a valid manager, all of the activities were scheduled in a little, intimate manner that she managed. Lucy's mother set up the household engagement and results when her younger sister Martha Thomas also participated in the recording with her. The two musicians performing together, the sisters recorded and performed together, creating a sincere and intimate environment when starting a family-centered musical image as a foundation for Lucy consistently upheld. Instead of going with the flow, Lucy chose to take her time and maintain the caliber of this. Showed that she wasn't a #1 artist. Achievements or appear in music rankings, but one item at a time, she verified. Wasn't an isolated incident. Lucy Thomas's method of growth might not have immediately yielded results, but in an earth where tenacity is becoming more and more valued in her music more than trends, listeners have learned about it in an organic, slow, and sustainable method. The initial observer of this change was not a big stage or recording studio, but YouTube's strong response from the YouTube community and its channel Lucy Thomas Music was established. Shortly after her debut, the music videos for Lucy's debut album were simple recordings using still photos or shot in her personal studio, which featured no challenging repercussions or consequences at first. It was all very raw, but ultimately the data gradually become more sound quality that has been established with expertise. Improved camera angles were carefully chosen, and the basic images where it was still very well made. Complete focus on her voice that attracted admirers' attention as one of the initial videos to obtain a significant people took notice of her performance of Hallelujah. Although this song was performed by a lot of performers, discovered that Lucy's performance brought a completely different nuance without shouting or just displaying a demonstration. Showing was well-timed, restrained, and wealthy. In depth, over 10 people saw this video. Millions of views in under a year, indicating the beginning of the channel's steady growth. By 2024, this video had surpassed 52 million views, a noteworthy performer's number who didn't participate in marketing campaigns or purchase media while essentially avoiding of all other popular social media platforms. Since then, Lucy's YouTube channel has developed into the place where she provided blankets for movie soundtracks and classical music theatrical, featuring songs such as You Raised Somewhere, There Is the Sound of Silence. It's time to bid farewell to memories and beyond. Not only viewers in the UK, but also viewers in Canada and the United States, the Philippines and many other countries began commenting on and sharing her videos. Social media platforms, but Lucy didn't engage in a lot of communication with her web audience. Positive feedback continued to pour in, implying that her music could gain popularity without needing a unique image building or social media activities. In March 2024, Lucy's YouTube account had accumulated around 192 million views and each new video has 872,000 subscribers. generated a steady stream of views. Particularly when there is a high rate of involvement. The comment sections of her videos almost entirely free of criticism, which is incredibly rare for an open platform like this according to YouTube users. I watched Lucy's movies to relax and get through as background music or when things are difficult on special instances. This partnership was built without the need for the artist to disclose a great deal about her private life, or pursuing personal branding is easy. To note Lucy Thomas's choice to refrain from observed trends, but to focus solely on her music is what sets her apart. But YouTube has a ton of unsettling videos that use dramatics to attract attention. Lucy's visual aids or headlines channel just gives her voice. Despite this, she has continued to attracting hundreds of thousands of loyal listeners who never return out of curiosity, but because they learn stability, satisfaction, and true value in what she posts. Videos of herself on YouTube, however, only helps Lucy stay in contact with her audience. But it further evolved into the principal platform where she can cultivate her career as the channel of Lucy Thomas grew. Image became very clear and solemn. Young, humble artist dedicated to classical and semi-classical music, uncommon for her age. Following the viewers grew acclimated to this image. Lucy began to think about her next move. Not just staying in a studio but moreover going onto a real stage. The significant event with the spacious stage and the Lucy was a popular market in 2020 and 2023. Thomas regularly released 4 albums. 2020 Encore, Timeless 2021, Destiny 2022, and this album series after 2023 not only helped her maintain her presence among supporters, but moreover demonstrated a noticeable improvement in her creative skills. A premiere took care everywhere. An overview of the 4 subsequent albums demonstrated growing confidence in showcasing her unique musical style. The choice, arrangement, and voice of each song approach shown her maturity and expert advice without compromising the distinct elegance that Lucy is known for. For an encore, I followed her spirit. Debut album that includes several well-known musical theater songs. However, the accords were more thorough with the adding strings and making things more complicated. Timeless orchestrations that expanded Lucy's musical range as she began to approach semi-class artists performing songs like The Sound of the Bridge of Silence over Fix Your Troubled and modern water. Music that has been modified with a classical pop songs are becoming more popular, and the semi-class genre did not diminish their poetic qualities, but instead enlarged. Thrilled the crowd with Destiny's appearance, and Lucy's tone has matured. Her control had obviously increased. Cleanly over difficult high notes, pronunciation, and had the ability to manage emotions at the right times. The arrangement of the tracks was semi-anonic style that incorporates choirs and keyboard solos, making the performance better than she did past records. The consistency in her, the musical direction, and the small slow progress revealed that instead than following trends, Lucy was creating her own distinct style, one that shouldn't have been any different, but remained steadfast and devoted to oneself. In 2024, Lucy gave her debut live performance in Staler Hall's Little Theatre. Even while this wasn't a significant stage according to industry norms, it was enough for her to do a live test, demonstrating skills in front of an audience without the performance getting out of control. Thanks in great part to her, tickets sold out quickly. Loyal followers who had followed her on YouTube for a long time, even though the event was not well covered by the media. The video clips from the concert were disseminated widely, which strengthened her portrayal as a really attractive artist without the need for extensive advertising. Lucy's performance-related efforts performed several well-known songs that the public knew about her YouTube account channel, but with particular restructurings. Performances for the stage, she also performed duets with her sister Martha on numerous figures, creating a personal and practical setting that the audience had a great time accompanying Lucy. The pianist James Breen, who had been actively involved in planning and assistance for some of her earlier functions, that the two combined to produce a straightforward musical area with plenty of control but intensely emotional, proving that Lucy might steal the show in real life. It's true. At that moment, she had mastered the studio. The decision to pursue live concerts was a substantial shift for Lucy from being a performer to recording artist. This transition was challenging for some who just used recorded music at first. But due to careful preparation and her persistent efforts to create a stable listener's audience, this change came on its own. Without generating a disagreement between her online presence as well as her live stage followers have no bearing on Lucy's career. Counts media metrics or rankings on charts. She focuses on cultivating a strong creative basis that doesn't inspire her music by ephemeral tastes, the continuous publication of albums with a consistent quality and going out into the world. Her mobility is demonstrated throughout her performance. Moving forward, albeit slowly, but with amazing confidence, but a lot of painters her age observe fleeting trends to maintain. Lucy remains committed to her own path and has identified a sizable enough audience to support her while she considers her encounter with being taken out of the. Lucy has made considerable progress in the semi-finals. More than expected. Without needing to win on the show or significant agreements, she still has effectively built a solid career based on excellent and thoughtful musical choices, and Lucy Thomas is predicated on it. Embarking on a new professional phase, the initial voyage where she is not only performing but also becoming aware of her individual stories via self-written. She penned a song on her personal struggle in January. In 2025, Lucy Thomas released Don't Walk Away as an independent, standalone marker. Her first original composition was a notable shift from acting as an actor of music to tell her own story through lyrics. For any artist making the move from converting tunes into unique music has long been a part of their creative development, but for Lucy, this change was particularly important in light of that she had spent years building legitimacy and a strictly audience through covers, which is why this debut single had great expectations. However, not only her audience, but the route that she had diligently followed in her musical career using a simple structure. Don't Walk Away doesn't follow the way commercial pop trends are organized, mostly uses pianos to maintain. The Lucy has always been straightforward, stayed true to her voice and didn't attempt to show strength or hit high notes, but places more emphasis on softness and nuance and cautious handling amid emotional changes. The uniqueness of the music is not in technique or sound effects, yet the lyrics are simple enough to rich in emotion and kind without becoming cliched, but don't be overly sentimental. The problem of separation is examined in Walk Away. But rather than being overflowing with however, the song features a gentle plea that almost amounts to a restricted admittance. The lyrics of the song contain references to this. Was a wise choice that allowed Lucy to express strong emotions without going overboard. Her responses embellishment. The listening public has a very positive perception of platforms like YouTube and Spotify. Many when Lucy began, the comments provided support. To include her personal story in her, a few listeners commented on the song's composition. Believed the wait was worthwhile for the song. In contrast, her loyal followers thought that for her, this was a natural next step. Substantial advancement compared to her previous efforts. This were mostly covers of Don't Walk Away. Opened a fresh door, revealing a space where Lucy may experiment, take risks, and shape her unique musical style through her close interactions with her. Releasing her career's debut original song was not only a modification in format, but also a statement outlining her position. Lucy was not. She is more than just a talented cover artist. Was getting close to becoming a real singer-songwriter, which resulted in numerous new opportunities for her to grow and CD with unique compositions, organizing a tour in order to showcase her own artwork, to expanding collaborations with additional songwriters in a different studio model in a more autonomous music business that places a premium on moderation. This change over one's work is advantageous to Lucy. Become among the few up-and-coming talents that possess both technical expertise and a unique, considering her in retrospect, artistic identity. The journey of Lucy Thomas from 2018 to 2025. The story isn't about overcoming dramatic adversity or success in a fairy tale. Is a young artist's story of walking slowly, a protracted procedure to maintain quality and honesty as a creative person. But many of her to survive, Lucy's peers had to adapt. Not choose the easy route, nor did she endeavor to meet the needs of the entire market, but at this specific choice has been advantageous. She maintains the faith of her audience. The most valuable asset for any artist. What are your thoughts on Lucy Thomas's